Hello, welcome to another episode of So Fly. What's the date today?
Today is April.
April 4th?
14th.
14th.
April 4th.
I am so late
Runs out
for
of the
everything.
I need to leave.
I'm running really behind. My name is Mitch. We got Aldo here.
Hey, how's it going?
We got Yelma.
Hey, Yelma here.
And we're recording a really special episode today, live on location for the second time in a row, actually, because last time we were at Drift Outfitters.
And today we're at the Filson store in downtown Toronto.
What's that address?
694 Queen Street West.
Mama Pajama. As if you know that off of memory. I have no idea where we are. I thought it was April 4th. Really excited today to have a couple of returning guests on the show. We've got Trip Fontaine. Trip, how's it going?
Hey guys, I'm great.
We've got Alex as well. Alex?
Hey, how are ya?
Good. Thanks, guys, for coming down.
Yeah, thanks for making the trip into Toronto and sitting in these comfy chairs. And we have an audience.
We do.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
Oh, we got some beers going, too. What are we drinking today? Well, I'm drinking a beer.
Well,
Everybody
you're
else
drinking
is
a beer.
40?
Everyone else is drinking 40 Creek whiskey. Delicious
Trips
40
in
Creek
it to win
whiskey.
it right now.
I am.
Yeah, Copper
Yeah.
Postil. And I think you guys are drinking what? Henderson Brewing Company? Cameron's? Mike, what are you drinking over there?
He's doing the 40 Creek.
Oh,
You
he's
drinking
doing
40?
the 40 Creek.
Yeah,
Right
he's
on.
feeling it too.
Nice.
Man, I like the Hendersons a lot, too. This is really good.
Nice.
Well, we got a pretty exciting show. We actually have a new segment today that Yelma is going to be debuting called... What's it
Shit.
called? What's it called?
Actually, I don't know what it's called.
It's called
'cause I just made
Fact or
it up.
Fishy.
Fact or Fishy with Yelma.
It's called Fact or Fishy with me.
It's going to be so good. I'm
That
so
sounds
excited
fishy.
for it.
Yeah,
sound a
We
little
also
fishy.
we got Mitchie's Fishies 5. You didn't do Mitchie's Fishies 5 last time, eh?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Did you?
I felt it. Yeah, I remembered it.
Okay,
I
because
was
I
really
couldn't
impressed
remember
with
if
you.
we did it or not, because I remember we did it with you.
Yes,
You were the first Mitchie's
Yeah,
Fishies
I
5.
was.
actually,
Yeah.
which is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. But we're going to do more Mitchie's Fishies 5 today, and we're also going to change up those questions. But also, what are we talking about today most importantly?
Well,
Aldo?
guys, it's 13 days until the season starts. The trout season opens,
whoop.
which is exciting.
Hello.
For those of you who don't know, Trip and Alex are guides. They guide in Southern Ontario. So definitely they're excited to get back on the water and get back to work.
We need money.
Very bad. Book.
But I think also,
That's a
you know,
No, it
everyone's
isn't.
just pretty pumped to get back on the water, back outside, and back fishing Ontario waters anyway. We got to do some fishing recently. Mitch and you were in South Africa recently fishing for rainbows, which was crazy. And I was in Pennsylvania, and that was pretty special.
You know, I grew up in Pennsylvania.
No way.
I did.
You grew up in Pennsylvania?
I did
Where?
for 9
You're
years.
American?
What?
No, funny. This is a fact for
All right,
you guys.
here we go.
Whoa,
Here's
here
a
we
fishy
go.
fact. I'm Canadian. I was born in Burlington here. When I was 7, we moved from Ottawa to Pennsylvania, so just outside of Reading.
Were you born in Ottawa?
No, I was born in Burlington.
Right, you just said that.
I did.
But then you went to Ottawa.
I did. I lived there. Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Mitch and I are from Ottawa.
Yeah.
And so is my sister, who's right there.
What's going on?
Hi. So I lived in the Glebe on 2nd Ave. What? If you guys know where that is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming. Yeah, so I lived there for about 2 years till I was about 7. And then, yeah, my stepdad is Scottish and got a job in Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. So it's just
insane.
outside of Reading. Yeah,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
a little bit outside of Scranton as well, if anybody watches The Office.
We do.
Yeah, so a lot of jokes there. And then we moved to North Carolina. And so my family lives there for about 12 years now, and it's a good time.
That's crazy. Did you guys fish did you fish when you were down there?
No.
You hadn't been fly fishing yet.
No, I had been, but only where I live now on Puslinch Lake here in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and throughout the rivers with my dad. So
Yeah.
it's a really dad-oriented thing.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy, man. Like, you were down there the same time we were in South Africa.
Yeah, it was a double
Whammy.
trip. Double whammy?
Yeah,
It was
sure.
a double whammy.
On
That's
a
awesome.
Monday 2 weeks ago, you were in South Africa in Cape Town
Yeah.
catching wild rainbow trout. At
Yeah.
the same time, I was catching wild brown trout in Pennsylvania.
That's gnarly, man.
You guys were meant to be.
Isn't that wild?
It's wild.
It was like probably the coolest thing that's going to happen this year.
Well, I
Don't
mean, it's
say that.
Africa.
And it's only April 4th.
Fishing season hasn't even started
hasn't even
yet.
started
You
yet.
top the.
It's super
Yeah.
cool, but we're going to have way more
Yeah.
amazing adventures.
And we're going to talk about the trip to South Africa probably in the next episode because we're going to have that guide on the show.
Awesome.
But
Oh.
Yeah, today we're here to talk about
That's
you
something
guys.
I want to hear about. I
Oh,
want
yeah.
to hear that story.
We can
Oh,
talk
man.
about you guys too.
it's going to be good.
No,
We
no,
gotta
no,
save
we like you a lot.
No,
We
no,
like
no.
you a
Yeah,
lot.
we would love to do an episode where we interview you guys. Yeah.
All right, well,
because
take it
you
away,
guys
man.
We're
are-
gonna do it.
Go right now.
Let's turn the tables right now.
We're gonna do some friggin' SoFly fishy facts here.
Yeah.
Whoa, that'd be crazy. You guys are blowing my mind right now. But we want to talk about trout opener today, right?
Yeah, I want to talk about like the steps you take to, start your season, both like for yourself personally and maybe as guides as well. And then we can talk about like how that applies to other people's seasons or like, and just talk about like, how are we getting ready to fish, basically.
Are you
It's
guys
all
ready?
mental.
Are you guys ready?
I am.
I'm ready.
You are?
Feeling it.
What makes you feel ready, Trip?
The fact that this is like my life.
So wait, but you're always ready then.
I'm always
Yeah.
ready. I'm so prepared. It's not even funny.
How many flies are you tying over the winter to feel prepared? Because you supply flies for your
I do.
for your clients, right?
I am very like.
Is that something every guide does?
No, it's not
right?
actually.
Right.
The other guides that I work with, a couple of them do for the, finicky fish that they're after, and they just, are bug specific for that time of year. But other than that, not so much. They're pretty much just, they take what they can get and they use whatever, right? That's with the Saugeen because the population of fish are so large. At times you don't have to be so picky, but with me, and at times in what I do and what we're targeting, I am very correct on the entomology and when and where I'm using it. But for tie-in, I don't even know how many flies I'm in right now. I said today that
150 yarnies.
yeah, the last week I did 150 yarnies in one sit-in, and then
Whoa.
Jesus.
I was bugging him the whole time.
bunch of the
No pun intended.
I start with
It's intended.
intruders and yarnies, because for me especially, we were right into steelhead, and that's our main focus. So my first tie session will be all that type of stuff, and then as the season tapers off with steelhead, I become very specific for the first approach at brown trout, because then I'll do a fall one too while they return to do their migratory process, right? So then after I'm tying a bunch of candy for steelhead, I get into very specific stuff for brown trout, and that can be very time consuming. But in all, like, the amount of flies I will tie, it would just blow your mind, because we all lose flies. We
Like
lose
crazy.
multiple throughout a day. All of us do. And some days, you got to be prepared.
Right.
So your guiding season's already started.
What's that?
Has your guiding season started? Like, have you already got people booked up for guiding and you're getting ready to go take people out for steelhead?
I think I'm booked solid for the month of May and June.
Jeez.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you're free for opening day?
I generally, my
Fishing
boss
days?
is so nice that he's made open a day off to,
No
just to get it out of my
way.
system. So I'm not sitting there just twitching while all these other people are
Catching
getting
fish.
bent.
Yeah.
He allows me to go out, get my fix,
Yep.
and then I have to sit there for 2 months and watch everyone else do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's a very generous thing on his behalf, because I don't know if I could just jump right into the game
Right.
and not get, it out of my system while sitting there and seeing everyone else.
Yep.
Alex, what are you like? What are your steps to getting ready?
Well, it's different actually right now. Funny enough, last year I was working 60, 70-hour weeks as a career
Crazy.
coach here in Toronto. I worked at a tech education school, which was unbelievable, changed my life. But I'm not a city girl, so I moved out of the city. The commute was 5 hours a day, so I resigned actually to really pursue the full-time guide and building up my own career coaching practice. For folks that are looking to get in, but I'm actually tying them together. So right now, to get prepared, I'm really just looking forward to finding folks that want to get out of the office and into the river. So a lot of these are going to be beginners or, potentially intermediate people that really just want a different experience, and not necessarily just centered around finding fish, but, wanting to curate an experience for them so they can find balance in their day. And a lot of these people right now, I am targeting women. I find that they don't have a lot of activity right now. They do outside of the city, especially if they're in Toronto or KW. So I really want to build up quite a few women in fly fishing events, or at least just get some folks on the river with me. I'm actually being taught how to tie rigorously by this guy over here.
Dope.
He's not going to let me, just No, he's not feeling it. So
You
that's
aren't
what we've
slipping through the
been.
cracks with this. Like,
Yeah.
You're going to sit down on that vise and your fingers are going to bleed.
They already are.
Whoa.
Yeah, you know. I think you've seen some pictures on our Instagram, you know, of us tying flies and, you know, but it's been fascinating. So it's really cool to learn how to do that. So with these folks as well, I'm actually building up what's called Alex's packages.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's
And sorry.
What's that?
Yeah, I mean these are curated experiences. So let's say somebody gets on the river and they're like, you know what, Alex, I freaking love this. You know, I want to fish more and I want to actually learn from you.
Right.
So I'm actually curating 3 packages for not only myself but 4 calm waters. You know, to either do 3 lessons with 3 fly tying lessons. They get curated videos, educational videos, and a breakdown of every single guide that I do with them. You know, so they're getting more into it. They're getting a fly box from me. And it's something that they can remember, but actually become somebody who has confidence on the river. You know, you find that people don't want to do it or they don't know if they want to spend that kind of money just for one day. And I want to change that. You know, I really want to make it accessible and like they're learning. So my preparation right now is really focusing on the customer and less on what I can do in the moment. And
Cool.
so what is it that they actually need?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex's packages.
Yeah.
APs.
Really
APs.
working.
A couple APs.
You know, so
Yeah.
I'm actually working with the titles, but I'm calling it our M series. So our most curious fly fisher or most excited fly fisher, something like that. But yeah, Calm Wonders I think is going to be really excited to do this.
Are you guys going to do another Women in Fly Fishing Day too this year?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's likely not going to be in the spring. It's probably going to be more of a summer one. So we'll go for bass.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know, just let the ladies relax a little bit.
Yeah.
It's warmer. It's not as freezing. Last year, you guys would remember it was pretty chilly in the morning.
And they'll catch some fish.
And they'll catch some fish, you know, and even if they don't, it's
too, and it's so much fun.
Go
Like
for a
shorts or
swim
whatever.
and-
Yeah.
yeah. So again, like it's
I
so
love
much
bass
more.
fishing.
Yeah.
It's the best, man.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking to Rob last week at Drift, and he was saying how this season he wants to make it the summer of bass. He just wants to go bass fishing all the time.
That's
my
a
favorite.
great
I love
objective to
bass.
have.
That's a
for
great
whole
idea,
season,
right?
Because the endless fun you can have with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think bass are one of the most underrated species that we target here in Ontario. For some
100%.
reason. I don't know why it is, but we don't have a large demographic of people actually going out and specifically targeting them. But with that being said, like if you only knew the excitement you could have and the success, you would almost focus more specifically your whole summer on that and a lot of your season.
Geez, the size of the bass in the Saugeen too, where you guide, is insane.
And the Maitland,
And
it's
like with the Maitland too,
unbelievable.
like
Like, Aldo, you remember that day that we did like the one section of the upper and like all of them sitting around. It turned into more or less a sexy brown trout day.
Yeah.
But you got to see some of the
very-
stuff.
very
Like,
good,
yeah.
Yeah. No, I saw the pictures. It's crazy.
But like Mitch, Alex, and I, we spent a day on the river with their dad, fishing for bass, and that was super fun.
It was, you
Yeah.
know, it's funny actually. Bass, everybody always asks, "What's your favorite fish?" You know, and everybody loves the trout, and I love them definitely. But bass, they get my heart pumping. You know,
Yeah.
you're not expecting them to fight really well, but I mean, I got to take a break if I catch a really big hog. And I had one day actually last year. I was by myself in this section of the Maitland that I've never seen another soul on. You know, so it's incredibly remote. You got to watch yourself because if you hurt yourself, you know, you can't really be like, hey, help. You know, you don't have a lot of service. You know, but I got to this one hole, caught this unbelievable bass. And while I was doing that, I had what actually my dad calls KT. Killer.
There you are.
Yeah, hey. He calls this turtle Katie for killer turtle.
Yeah.
I'm fishing. I've got this fish on, this big bass, beautiful toilet bowl hit. And this turtle is bumping me. And it's massive. You know, it must be 70
weird.
years old. And I'm casting. I'm like, bud.
A big
Oh, not
snapping turtle?
casting. Yeah.
That's spooky.
Like huge. So I get the fish in. Katie's beside me. And I'm like, God, I'm going to freak out for a
Yoma
hot
would
second.
freak out.
I've seen that before.
So
Yoma
I,
would
TV.
die.
Yoma would die.
Would he
Yoma was
die?
locking the
You're
door
coming
in a
out with
cabin
me.
to try to keep the bears out. And we were like, when we were up north, we were like, no, I don't know if that'll do
But
it.
it was wild. You know, I'm waist deep, right?
Yeah.
So I'm waist deep. I've got this killer turtle in and around me. I let the fish off. I walk back up. I'm done for the moment. My arm's hurting. I almost step on a beaver.
Oh, beavers are scary, man.
Oh, this thing was like, hey.
What?
Beavers are scary.
They are. This thing was slapping
They're
its
deadly
tail.
rodents.
They're deadly.
Yeah.
Yo, I almost caught a beaver one time.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like a kid and I was jigging outside the side of a canoe and I was kind of bored.
There's a lot of jokes there.
This is an example.
Yeah,
there
well,
is.
Yeah, okay.
It was like an animal beaver.
I did.
And I was.
Is this a true or false? Like
This is a true. This is a
This
true.
is true?
I was
Okay.
jigging the jig. I was doing a jig over the side of the boat, and this big furry beaver came up to this to the jig, and I didn't know what it was because it was the water was like moving it. It looked like a friggin' monster, and I pulled the jig out of the water, and it almost went for the lure,
It is a monster.
and I was like, what the heck was that? And then 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, it's a beaver.
Yeah.
But also on the Grand River too, those things like they are pretty territorial, man. They freak you right out.
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh, no, they're super intense.
Slap their tail from a mile away.
Yeah.
They know you're coming.
They're big,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, they do.
That's
I
scary.
think actually in that same area, my dad had said that the beaver had run down the bank and actually bumped him on his side because they get really territorial and aggressive.
Dang.
But I was there and I'm like, God, I just literally almost got mauled by a killer turtle, and
Yeah.
now I almost got mauled again by a killer beaver.
Dang.
So
Canada,
it was
man.
one of the best days I've
Maitland.
ever had. Let's be
Wild.
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wild
very
animals.
A
cool.
lot of risk involved there.
That's so Canadian.
I'm risky. I'm risky.
And I don't
Chris.
think there's an
Canadian.
adventure without risk.
Yeah.
Oh.
Trip. We got trout coming up, right? And Alex. So this is what I kind of want to know right now. Is like we get to the river on trout opener, and what is your plan of attack? Like how do you decide to go about fishing that day? Like what are you gonna do?
This is you,
got
not
the,
for your clients.
yeah, you got the day off.
Personally?
Yeah, you have the day
Oh.
off. You're doing trout opener. Like what's your plan?
We're together, aren't we, on trout opener?
We are.
What are you guys gonna do?
Well, thanks for the invite.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry,
Is it
guys.
because I can't fish?
You guys know
Yes.
it's an open door. You just text and say I'm coming, like any of you. That's
Yeah.
it. But
Where are you guys
okay,
fishing
it's
on
like
trout opener? You're
with,
gonna
with
be-
this
you're
with this opener,
Yeah.
we're gonna focus on steelhead for the mid morning, and then we're gonna go and we're not even gonna fish.
For the
We are gonna go and
leopards.
pick out what we're gonna spend our time personally targeting. So, personally, me, I get my fix from steelhead. I'll catch a couple fish, and then my month of May is basically watching water subside and hunting for prospects in which I'm gonna target first week of June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're planning like
Yeah, I'm planning and prepping. I'm not out there just flinging flies around hoping for the best.
Yeah.
I'm out there strategically breaking things down. And we're talking personally again because I like to get my fix too.
Yeah.
So I'm out there looking for specific fish in which I want to spend the time in and trying to make the connection with.
Yeah.
And that will take up my month of May. I might not even make a cast for a brown in the month of May, and I'll wait until those first 2 weeks of June when everything just sort of falls in place, temperature-wise, fly-wise, and that's when I'll start to take a crack at the first few prospects I have. I can't stress it enough what it is to actually take the time to get to know what it is you're after.
yeah.
Anything in life.
I fully agree. Actually, it's funny.
Oh.
Fish being specific right now.
And where to fish, right?
And
like
that's
learn
it.
the rivers, like get to know
Yeah.
the rivers.
Try not to waste time,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's valuable. And so go out and do the homework before you make the commitment.
Yeah.
And we had a rough winter, guys, and so that's exactly what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to make some casts, and I love browns. I love steelhead, but they're just unbelievable. However, we had a rough winter. It was cold and it was icy. So
Gross.
those rivers are changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you gotta. Just coming off of what Tripp was saying, you've really got to take a moment and sit there and learn what it turned into. The riverbeds
Right.
and everything, the flows, they all change every single year.
So true.
And it's, especially with people I'm going to be guiding this year, I really want them to focus on that. What's the water strategy? What are you going to take?
So since that happens every year, like annually, do you go out before? Obviously, right? You go out before you check it out. You do all your
I do.
homework.
Always
and-
checking the
yeah,
rivers.
Yeah.
I
Even
have
in the
been
winter.
fishing since January 1st
Yeah.
in the sections that you can, but I've also been walking the sections that you can't fish just to strategically know what I am, getting ready for. Like, because
Right.
when push comes to shove and you just get right into the boat and go, you want to be game on and prepared for it. So I will take time in my area, and I will go out and I will prospect just on those subtle changes in which ice has shifted,
Yeah.
rock location, sandbar, everything, right? Because it happens every year, especially on larger bodies of water.
They're just new rivers.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And that is a big advantage to get to know again what it is year after. And
And
whatever
how
you-
long does that usually take? Like, is the whole like a month to kind of check it out, or is it just a day trip when you guys?
The whole
Yeah,
year.
yeah, it takes a long time. Like, I mean, it's all circumstantial to the section you're fishing.
right,
Like in
right.
my area where I am, and I do a lot of my guiding, like it's hundreds of kilometers of area, right? And for me, like it becomes species specific. Like steelhead, it's a lot faster. Brown trout and brook trout becomes a little more specific, and then getting in and working or looking over those areas becomes a lot harder than just walking the main stem of the river, because you have to go up into the tributary areas, right, or like
Yeah.
those tighter headwaters, where at this time of year the water actually isn't at the level in which it's going to be when you're out there. But you're always just taking note of how the infrastructure has changed at large, right? And then you start, the more times you go out, you start to see more and more and more until there it is. And then you look for fish.
So technical.
Well,
You don't
totally.
just go out and fish it. It's like you want to really, you want to find these before you cast for them a lot of the time. And
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I mean, even the shelves will change, you know, so it does take all year, you know, every single season, every different species, you know, even the bass, the shelves will change and they'll have new areas.
Yeah.
So it's like an
You know?
ongoing.
The
yeah.
bass on the Saugeen is
Yeah.
a very interesting thing with infrastructure changing, especially through a lot of the relevant sections in which you target it. Specifically, one section last year had a massive mudslide that went through it,
That changes everything.
and it changed everything. Because with that, there was a lot of sediment change. Like a lot of the fish won't hunker in those areas where there's a lot of mineral sediment being pushed through the water, because like the clay is breaking down and everything, and they'll back off. So like there's like a zone in which it's not even worth targeting, even though the infrastructure's there and everything. Just the water quality itself has deterred those fish from actually holding in that area anymore, and they've backed off, which you would assume when looking at it, it's like, ooh, this is just a cesspool of fish, right? Like, look at everything we have here. This mudslide came across the river. There's now trees down. There's just like boulders everywhere.
So
But
speaking
it's
of the
not applicable.
mudslide, how, and this is the resident entomologist, how would that change what the bugs are doing?
Well, sometimes that can deter like the
Great question,
the
Alex.
reproduction.
Great.
Really good question.
I'm interviewing
Really
you
good
now.
question.
Insects are
Please.
one of the biggest indicators of water quality. And if you don't have a lot of bugs repopulating in that certain area, then you aren't going to have a lot of fish that are coming around to check it out.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Like water quality with insects, I think is another thing to take more note on at times too. Like the fewer the bugs, the less fish. They follow biomass. Like
True.
Yeah, makes
that's
sense.
how they are, right?
This is so
but-
fun.
Yeah,
You
no,
geek
that's
out
a
on
really good
this.
point, because like I remember last year, like when we were, you know, we got a chance to fish with Mitch's uncle Joe and his friends a lot, who have been fishing.
I love you,
with
Joe.
credit.
Sorry. Sorry.
And Joe's great, and his friends are great, and they've been fishing the credit forever, you know, and we're getting to know it a lot better, you know, for sure. But you know, we fished opening day with them last year, and they're like, oh, this tree's in a different place, or this rock wasn't there last year. It's been there for the past 4 years, and like, and even I was noticing, I was like, oh, that log that I can always count on to break the current in a certain way is now gone. So now then your whole strategy becomes different, right? Because now it's a completely different place. Maybe there's no fish there at all anymore.
Yeah.
Your honey hole all of a sudden
That's
is
it,
like a barren wasteland of uselessness. Yeah.
And what a
can.
valuable piece of information to have. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, because
You
again,
kind of have to
don't
like
waste time.
You almost
Yeah.
have to like let go of what you thought your favorite spot was. You're like,
Yeah.
what it was isn't what it is anymore, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can always count that. I know there's a fish behind that, and then it's like, oh, but there isn't a fish behind that rock because there is no more rock, right?
Yeah.
So you have to like relearn. I think that's what's so awesome about fishing, right? It's like a river or any kind of body of water is a living thing, and it changes over time, and you have to change with it. And I think that's really cool. That's what makes this sport so interesting, right?
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny you say that, because I think often, you know, and it's really difficult not to get intimidated in this sport, you know, and the rivers are totally alive. And every single year, just as we've been saying, you turn into a brand new fisherman, you know, so you can be a guide and you can get out there and be like, I know exactly what to do. But you and us as guides, we have to learn everything starting from day one again. And it never stops all throughout the seasons, like we were saying. And you got to be honest about that. You know, your customers, obviously, they want to get into fish, but the more that they know that this happens, the better fishermen they will be. You know, so it's actually trying to break that down and get vulnerable. Say, we're just relearning the rivers as well because of what happens, educate on that, and then you're not only helping with conservation, but really getting them to know what the sport is and that they are alive.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, too, though, there's that there's like Bill, who we've had on the show before, and everybody knows Bill, and he's just Bill in Ontario. It's kind of like Cher. It's kind of weird. But he always says like fish the river in the river, right? And all these guys do, like Joe and James Bond and all these like guys that have been fishing these areas for so
James
long.
Bond?
James Bond.
Shout out to James.
Yo, James.
007 James.
James is the best.
James is the best. He's like
James
the
is.
nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
Amazing
Mad love
bamboo
for that
builder.
guy.
Yeah. But
That's his name.
I know. It's so whack, eh? But he is like, he lives up to it. Like, he's the coolest dude ever. But they always say like fish the river in the river, and like, and there's certain spots where the fish, they say, these guys always say like right where they've always been, you know, like in the sort of like the pools at the bottom of the river that don't change year to year. You can find fish hanging out, you know. So it's like, it's interesting too that, you know, obviously structure and stuff changes, but there are pools and runs where fish, they're sort of just always like hanging out, you know, at least on the Credit, you know, like in the Grand, the rivers that we fish a lot.
I love the Credit.
Yeah.
I really got to know it last year, and I've never.
Special place.
Yeah. You know, it's really tight, you know, so you got to be really careful. Take a really nice 3-weight out there and try not to fall.
Yeah.
That's what I did this year and snap my rod.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Sorry, Brad and
happened to
Bolton.
me.
Yeah. But it was it's magical, actually.
Yeah.
Special place, different, like, like it's very wild up there. And you're like, what, 40 minutes from downtown Toronto?
It's a little
That's
frustrating. It's
Can be.
frustrating. Yeah.
Oh, it's tough.
It's like
They're
technical
spooky
trout
there.
fishing,
Yeah.
right?
And there's
Yeah.
not many fish, so like, you know, you're fishing over fish that people fished over early that day.
All the
Which
time.
is awesome.
Well, there's
And they spook
insane
and-
pressure too, right?
Yeah.
Like that's actually one thing we noticed in South Africa. We were talking to our guide down there, and we're like, man, the rivers we fish, the pressure. He's just like, yeah. They have beats, right? So it's like, it's really like organized, right? Like you can't have like people fishing like the beat at the same time, and it's like you
You can't just show up and fish wherever you want.
you have to kind of organize yourselves, and it's like, and there's less fly fishermen down there as well, just in general, especially fishing the mountain streams, like they're going to the salt and stuff. But it's like here, it's like these fish just get like so hit.
Yeah.
And this
know?
is why I'm convinced fly anglers from Ontario are better than anywhere else. Sorry,
Because they have to,
bold-
they're forced to.
bold statement.
No, I know what you mean.
Our
Like,
fish population, like I just came back from Pennsylvania. The fish population in Spring Creek is like something absurd, like 20,000, 40,000 trout per river mile. Like
No,
these are
it's
wild trout.
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Like what's our fish population? Like a couple hundred?
40.
per
10.
river mile?
10
Where I am,
fish.
it might be one.
There's a fish.
That you watch.
There's like one fish.
You get them. You've got 4 months.
Good luck.
It's true though.
It's
It's
your
like
turn to get them today.
it can feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
You know.
So like our fish populations aren't great. I mean, you know, they're protected rivers, which is great. They're, you know, Credit River, they're wild, which is great. But there just aren't as many fish. Like,
There's ways we can improve.
of course.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's so funny. Trip will show me a picture and he'd be like, "You see that dot? That fish was from 2 years ago."
Oh yeah.
You know, but he knows them
Yeah.
from just
Oh,
their
yeah.
their spots.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
nice. That's good to know.
personal,
That's really good to know.
personal relationship with a lot of these
Yeah.
fish, and
I've never seen anything like it.
Be awesome to start tagging them.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But you know, like it's the markings are there, right? You don't really need to
Need to
target
t-
them. They're very localized fish. I mean, they don't venture unless they're threatened or pressured, right? But you can tell with markings if you get a photo. And I could show you right now photos of like the same fish caught from different periods and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like you can tag them by markings. And
Yeah.
you can
Cool.
then-
Show and
that's
tell.
enough to understand.
Well, the nice thing to know is catch and release works when done
It does
properly.
It does, and that is one of the biggest eye openers I personally had while going into this industry about how it actually does work. That it's so beneficial. It's not even funny, and I hate people that want to chirp me for that and say that it's. So
We just ran
cruel
into
and
that.
all. It's- Yeah.
Oh,
what
really?
Do you mean?
Yeah.
What happened?
We won't discuss any names or places.
course
but
not.
yeah, it was like quite a debate on it. And
Yeah.
Well, when I
Like
was in
30
Meaford,
minutes.
Sorry.
yeah.
So what else do you guys do to like help the rivers and like the conservation when you're guiding? Like what do you do to tell your guests or your when they come out?
Trash pickup
Yeah.
constantly.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Trash
Always
pickup?
take out more than what
Yeah.
you came in with.
Barbless hooks, dude, like
Yes.
all that
Always.
Well,
kind of
yes,
stuff.
yes. I'm a firm, like, I will push barbless hooks, but I personally don't use them at times. Like, I like to get that fish in, especially steelhead and stuff, like, right away.
I'm
But
plugging
no,
my ears.
I will push that, but it's not a protocol in which I, like, advocate for 100%. Like, sometimes a barb does do a lot more justice for your catch and release than it does not. Like, I mean,
Yeah, and sometimes it's not as destructive. Like a barb on like a
And
4-inch brook trout is
if you
Yeah.
look at a lot
bad,
of these
but-
companies' hooks, like, if you're, like, a very avid fly tyer and you get down to the nitty gritty with these companies, they have whisper barbs and stuff. And it's not even noticeable. Like there's just a tiny little fleck of steel that sticks out.
Yeah.
And you got to really look for, right?
Makes a big difference, though.
And that does. Just that subtle little nick can do a lot. And I mean, when you catch these, you want to get them in as fast as you can. You don't want to play them. And that's the thing with barbless. Like you're very particular on how you fight it because you want to get it in. And sometimes you're fighting them a lot longer than you should be. And with the barbed hook, you can get them in quite fast. And that's a big thing with steelhead. Like those fish that come in from the lake and they get in the river system, their air bladders are all, getting adjusted and stuff. And you just want to get them in as quick as possible. You don't want to be thinking like, oh, I got to fight this a certain way, position my rod, really milk it because I'm fishing barbless right now.
Yeah.
And I want the success. Like if you just have that minute little security of a, barb, it's justifiable in my opinion.
So when it comes to catch and release, though, because that's an interesting thing, getting the fish in quick, and then obviously catch and release. Like, what do you think is what's like the most important aspect of catch and release?
Don't let your fish's head hit the ground. Don't be letting it thrash and bounce around. I can't stress enough how fragile their little craniums are.
Yeah.
And most deaths attributed to catch and release will be because you've concussed the fish. And so to get it in a little deeper water, opposed to shallower water where it has that ability to almost like have
bump itself.
Yeah, is very important in my opinion. I think that's personally the most underlying thing. Don't let their heads hit stuff.
Right. Yeah, that
get
makes a
them
lot of sense.
in, and the 1-2 like pick up, photo, release type thing. But
keep
just
it in the water.
Watch their heads.
Keep
as
them
much
wet.
as possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Big time.
Yeah.
Don't take too long taking a picture.
Yeah.
And try not to touch them too much. You
Yeah.
know, they've got that
their-
slime on them. That's
Their
Look how
bellies and their
fragile they are. Look at
tails.
that
Yeah.
little guy. He's tiny.
Yeah.
Like I see people sometimes holding
precious
fish
little
and just like
things.
squeezing them like so hard. I'm like, oh my god, like
Ooh, squeezing.
yeah, it doesn't make a great picture either. It's like, what are you doing? Like, it's better just release the thing, man.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing. Like,
know?
one of the best advice I've gotten from
Fish
a
flop
DOP
Friday.
is, like when we're shooting and we cut off someone's head, it's like, well, people know that people have heads. You know what I mean? If you take
Whatever.
take a picture of the fish. If you don't catch all of it, we catch it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not worth
People know what a fish is.
the death of these things that we want to continuously
And
catch.
Instagram,
Very
like,
true.
Here's the
get outta
thing.
here.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, though, a lot of fly fishing right now is coming down to the gram. Did you get the picture? Did you post it? How good does it look? It's really hard to get that picture, especially if you're by yourself. So Tripp is a friggin' pro at it. He's got a little setup that he does.
You
But
are
do.
the selfie king.
Yeah.
I do.
It's crazy.
I got a little setup that has benefited me quite well, but it's very quick and efficient. But anyways,
Yeah.
Alex.
No, I'm just saying that the point is that he's amazing, but it's not all about the picture, right? So if you're like, I have to handle this fish way too much in order to get a photo, or if you see a guide or whatever, just let it go. Really feel the moment and understand it. You don't need the picture. You can get one next time because you're becoming a great fisherman. If you don't learn how to do it properly, it takes time. So
Yeah.
Help
Exactly.
each other out. When you're in areas of large population on the river and you got guys around you catching fish and you see like single guys doing it, trying to do it all themselves, help them out, give a helping hand, land a fish for someone.
Totally.
It's so much fun landing
And
fish.
take
Oh,
the
it's so
photo
much
for
fun.
them. Don't expect
Take the
these
pressure.
people to do it all personally because that's where it starts to get a little iffy. Is when you got one guy trying to do all this stuff at once.
exactly.
And when I'm at certain locations where there is a high population of people, I love stepping out of the way and being like, let me do this for you. Let's make this quick and efficient, and that fish is back and safe.
Yeah.
And you didn't really F anything up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I watch some people personally like struggle at large, just even with netting the fish.
Yeah.
And at that point, once it's gone through that abuse, I hate to say it, but it's like that
Yeah.
fish would taste better than
Yeah, chances are it's not
going
great.
back and rotting. Just enjoy it. But
You should have seen
Yep.
Yilma last year land a brown trout on the credit. I think it was on
For
opening
me?
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
On
it was
opening
for
day.
opening
Speaking
day,
of opening day, that was
Awesome.
Yilma's
awesome.
mind like split.
was that a
in half.
squirm
Yeah.
day too? The
Oh.
Squirm Nation?
think
that
it
was
was
the
on
squirmy,
Squirmy, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the squirmy day.
Yilma's video of it. I've never seen him scream like that.
He like
I was
You
so
can
happy.
scream.
Catch it next
Well,
time.
because
birds flew out of trees.
Yeah, it's the best.
The muskie were happy that day.
Super
The cops
You're a
showed
very
up.
collective person. I can't see you just going,
That's
Yeah,
that's why it was
I was nuts.
that's why it was so
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hooked this big like a good fish, right?
And I'm down the river, and all those yell, I'll come.
I was like, you gotta net this for me.
You need a T-shirt that says that.
On that point, like, and ask for help too. Like, don't check the ego, ask for help,
Yes,
kind of thing.
ask. Yes.
Check the ego and be like, I can't do this by myself.
Well,
Yeah.
your fish.
Oh yeah.
That sexy brown on the BD.
Yeah. Wow.
We plotted and planned that all out. We executed it, but one thing we did not do, which is an epic fail on some people, especially a guide part,
Because we didn't have a
is
net.
I didn't plan the execution. Oh, we had the net. I didn't plan how we were going to land that fish. I planned how you were going to catch it, but I didn't plan how we were going to. And I have a
True.
little video where that fish actually got wrapped up on a big cedar tree in front of us because we had to cast over that tree into the pool. And when you're fighting it, it was about 30, 40 feet in front of us. Like not a...
Jesus. Was it on a dry?
It was on stream. It was
Oh,
like the most
yeah.
amazing moment of my life.
So what was it? What happened? What's the deal?
So
I haven't heard about this.
Well, I think we did.
That whole afternoon was...
This is magic.
I've heard the story multiple times.
Yeah.
I like it.
It was a really good. It was a really good day. Like Trip and I, we got booked to guide.
Yeah, sexy corporate.
Yeah, we got booked to guide a corporate. Like I think they were like
With
an
Calm Waters?
accounting firm.
With JP.
Yeah, your dad,
Yep.
Alex, your dad set it
Nice,
up.
nice.
And
Shout out, hi, Dad.
we spent those corporate days are half days, so usually off the water by like 2-3 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
After lunch kind of thing. You're
Yeah,
like,
we
kinda
were
like
off at 2
later.
o'clock. Yeah.
And then Trip was like, "You, want to go fish the? Want to go with the Saugeen? Fish the Saugeen?" I was
Want
like,
to go into the woods with me alone?
I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we get there, and like this section of the Saugeen is like, it's like clear. It's like news. Like I would call it a lot like what you would think New Zealand gets a lot of press for. It's
Clear
like
water.
Clear water, not a lot of fish, just one really big fish
Yeah.
in each run.
Yeah.
And it was like the water was lower, so it was clear, and
But
you could see you could
cold still. We were marking like 12, 14
Oh,
degrees all
super
the way
cold.
through. Yeah.
super
Whoa.
cool, but you could see the fish is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, okay, like we were picking our
Yeah,
targets
sight
right
fishing
now.
for him.
So then we turn a corner and come up to this log jam, and then Trip.
Oh, and this goes back to like prospecting, right? It's like a lot of these fish become my friends, and it's like when I take someone out, I'm able to like
It's Todd.
Yeah, I'm able to introduce you to
Todd
them
or
because I
Phil.
know it's there and I know what it's doing, and not to be like pompous or egomaniacal with this, but it's like I called that, right? Like I said exactly
Noted.
Hey, we
how,
did call.
how
Noted,
this was
exactly.
gonna go out and what
Yeah.
what to do to execute
It happened
this.
exactly like he said it was gonna happen.
Yeah, well, So what
Literally,
happened?
like,
You cast it behind a tree?
Oh, I
That's
can't
my
remember. what
boy.
happened.
So it was this beautiful wide bank of slow moving water, like
Yeah.
this dog elbow. This nice fast run of white water just hits and penetrates against this wall, bounces off. There's a nice undercut set of roots, like a nice tree on the bank, and then the water is dug against this bank and created this beautiful little swell of water.
Yeah.
And there's
He doesn't
this-
really remember it that well.
Yeah.
I watched the video like 3 nights ago. I've watched the video on my phone like several times of you landing because it's a beautiful
Always
landing
before
thing.
bed.
Like I love just that land in its experience because not very many people have to deal with that.
Yeah,
and we
it was
did
awesome.
it. We got it.
Sorry, I cut you off.
But so I bring him to the spot, and there's this beautiful, dog elbow. The current bounces off under this log. I've watched this fish quite a few times, and I said, okay, this fish is facing like not on the same upstream that the current's hitting. It's facing, against like the wall.
Yeah.
So you got to make your cast upstream, and you're gonna want to be able for its like right eye to see you and pull it out and around. So when that fly goes down, you mend, let it swing across to pull the fish out. You do strip, strip. You'll see the fish, let it drop, and the fish will turn and take it, set the hook. Every single thing that I just said there, he did
That's what happened.
flawlessly, and the results were there.
He took the fish.
It was
It was
insane,
as
man.
simple
That's
as
so
that.
nuts.
I was like, I mend the fly line, and he said, like you said, he's like, you're gonna mend the fly line, and then you're gonna see
It's
the
very
fish.
well
I
illustrated, that story.
mended the line.
Sorry, Aldo.
I'll talk it.
Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You look great. Did you get your beard done for
Stop
this
it, stop it,
podcast?
stop
I think he did, yeah.
You did. You went to the barber
Shaped.
before this.
Oh,
This is why I came here, so I could watch this.
Wore his new Nikes.
How big was the fish?
This is your brother.
It was like
I
a 22.
yeah,
22
beauty
inch
brown,
brown.
beautiful,
22 inch
3,
brown.
4 pound, and
Yeah.
that's like being
Jeez.
modest.
So I mend the fish comes up.
Yeah.
Strip. He takes a fly.
Yeah.
I was like, I he came out from the logjam, and I think I actually said, "No fucking way."
Yeah.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Honestly,
gnarly.
it's the mark of an incredible guide, but also a great fisherman.
Yeah.
You know,
That's it,
like, you
like,
guys
that
are
was
a
a
big
good
team.
And that's it. It is.
Yeah.
It's like we did make a great team. Like
Nice.
how that all unfolded. It was poetically beautiful. And it was very romantic.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
awesome.
just-
You guys are
Yeah.
too much together.
And then we
We
crushed
are.
some beers.
And then we did. That's all. The rest of the day, that's all we did, right? We had that experience, and
Yeah, we were
why,
kinda
why
pretty-
try to top that, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
We just kind of walked the
It's just-
river, half-heartedly casting, and
That's so
just
gnarly.
crushing bush outdoors.
Yeah, we got to definitely do some
So
fishing out that
outdoorsy.
way.
that was it. We crushed bush. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I slept in my car
Stop it.
because I was too drunk to drive home.
Amazing.
Whoops.
Hey, Yilma, you got a new segment coming up, and I think it might be, he's working the camera right now, but I think it's time for Yilma to do his new segment. I'm like really excited for
I'm so excited
it.
for this new segment.
So the idea behind this new segment is
Shy.
Yilma is going to read 4 fishing stories, okay, that he's found
Cuatro.
on the internet. Well, 2 that he's found on the internet and 2 that he's made up. And then he's going to ask us if they're true or false, and we're going to say if they're true or false, and try to guess what they are.
What's the name of the segment?
It's a new segment called Yilma's Fact or Fishy.
Fact or fishy with Yilmi?
Yilmi's Fact or Fishy.
I don't like Yilmi.
Yilmi. It's going to be good.
Neil Marino.
Yilma, take it away, man.
Oh, wait, it's happening right now?
Yeah, it's happening right now.
That was us introducing
As opposed
the
to
segment.
later.
What about Yale Malicious?
Yilma.
Oh.
There we go. Nailed it.
Jesus.
So we'll do one story at a time, and we'll guess what other. I know the answers already because I proofread these.
Yeah.
But you guys like go for it, you
It's-
know.
yeah.
Actually, I kind of forgot. What
Graphic
was
designer
Fact or
problems.
fishy. Okay.
Okay, so.
Do you
this
remember
is-
which ones are fact or fish?
I do. Well, Yeah, 'cause that
Yilma,
one's-
this is the first one. You got to give a good intro.
I feel like I could just chirp right now. So just
yeah,
give
no,
it to
this
us
is
and
all.
we
This
can
is
just
this is
chirp
what
the
it's all about.
stories.
It's comedic. It's comic relief. You know?
If you want, I don't know.
No, it should be.
All right,
I don't want Gab to have all the laughs.
give us a good intro.
Okay, so this is
knows
Yilma's
it.
Fact or Fishy.
Nice. Okay. Sick. Yeah.
Nice.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Okay.
Right?
Hit us.
What was
Okay.
that?
So, well, you know, like the news, you know, when they do that like special, like, you know.
Dun dun dun.
No?
Bing, 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 bing.
I don't
guess.
know, man.
Okay, anyways, okay.
Only old people watch the news. Man.
I'm not, yeah.
Yeah, you're in your 40s.
Yeah, Mitch calls me baby boomer. Okay.
He's a baby boomer.
True or false?
Okay.
True or false?
You mean fact or fishy?
Fact or fishy.
Well,
Number 1.
fact or fishy? Number 1.
Let's land the plane.
Okay, wait, who's answering? Is everybody in the audience going to be answering, I guess?
Me first.
Yeah,
we
we'll
can-
all just
yeah,
like
we'll
make a
poll the
collective
audience.
vote.
Yeah,
Poll?
yeah,
Okay.
some
And our
thumbs up or-
guests.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so number 1, fact or fishy? A man went fishing with his girlfriend in New Mexico. He ended up catching a fish, pulling it up to the boat and pulling an engagement ring out of its mouth.
Super false.
Whoa.
Fact.
Wait, I'm not done.
Oh.
There's another sentence.
Sorry,
more?
sorry. I'm just mad at the story.
Dylan in the audience.
Just fact.
Fact trip. It's fact.
shotguns a beer.
He
Sounds super
proposed,
fake.
and
Okay.
as it turns out, the whole thing was set up before with a dead fish. Fact or fishy?
Well, if that's true, that's a really weird proposal.
That's so bad.
A dead fish.
I know that's fact.
I'm going with fact.
I know. There we go.
There you
I,
go.
I just
might
hate
be
it.
nice.
I'm gonna go false.
Fact. Fact. I'm gonna
Alex, you're
say
saying
I'm
that's
fishy?
falsy. No, I don't like the dead fish. I'm
Alex, you're
upset.
false.
I'm falsing.
So you're fishy.
I'm fact.
You're
Like,
fact?
I can see some person
Yeah, some
doing
nut
that.
doing this?
yeah.
It better
The
not
studio
be
audience.
Fact.
Fact.
So it's like half fact, half fishy. Whoa, that's a lot of fact.
All right,
I mean, maybe.
This is good.
not that surprising.
The answer is fishy. Sorry, guys.
Oh my! Look at okay, everybody, just look
I'm
at
gonna
me.
make that fact.
Yeah.
Trip's like, oh, I just got a really good idea.
It's not a bad idea.
Thanks for that.
No, he did not.
Kind of cool. Kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
Okay, hit us with
It
number
is
2,
cool.
baby.
I think.
Pulls
I
out a
would
dead
something like that
fish
'cause
to
I'm a
bring out a
romantic.
ring?
You and I would do something like that.
Yeah,
I'm looking at Trip.
You'd kill
I
a fish.
I
and
wouldn't
it
kill
has-
it. No.
You
I'd
go to
buy
the
a dead
grocery
fish.
store.
Yeah,
buy a
that's
walleye.
exactly what we do.
You'd have to
Farm
hire a
fish,
diver.
a rainbow trout out of Mexico, like on
Yeah.
the coast. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Out of Mexico.
Well, like think about it. Like
Those
you'd have to
Mexican
hire a
rainbows.
diver to like.
But we're getting our diving license.
I know. I can't wait.
So
It's
we
gonna be
could,
so sick.
Yeah, we can do it ourselves.
So you're gonna move the fish around and make sure it looks like it's alive.
No, you have to have a diver with the fish. You have to
Yeah.
have the diver
Who's
hook the fish
wiggling
on
it?
and then maybe do this kind of thing. And like, it'd be actually
a
that's super
wacky
freaky.
Pretty gross, guys.
I think there's some.
Wow,
people
you actually have thought of
that
this.
have done
haven't
that.
you? That's the weirdest part about this whole thing.
I love
Okay,
it.
this is only an hour podcast.
Okay, hit us with
So
number 2. Fact or fishy.
number 2, fact
Yeah.
or fishy. A woman woke up one morning itching to fish but at the same time, she wanted to get some exercise. So she decided to fish from her stand-up paddleboard on her lake at her cottage. First cast, the woman hooked into something immense strength, with immense strength. Mitch, you wrote this?
No, you wrote this.
Oh, I wrote this. Pulling her across the entire lake. Kids from the other cottages thought it was a motorized stand-up paddleboard. True. Fact or fiction?
So a woman on a paddleboard caught a fish and pulled her around.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fact.
Super fact.
For
yeah.
sure.
It's
fact.
like Old
I'm
Man in the
feeling
Sea,
it.
right?
That happens all the
I'm gonna
time.
fact that too.
It's a great
That's
book.
fact.
That happens all the time.
Okay, I guess
That's
the
actually
answer there.
happened.
Everybody
the
says
answer.
everybody.
It's the only one I wrote. That Mitch wrote the other one.
What
so
is it?
the
Fact or fishy?
It's false.
That's
What?
fishy.
There's no what? You guys thought that was true?
It's happened to me.
You gotta talk to.
That
You
happens
gotta
all
talk to
the
some of
time.
the people on Georgian Bay.
No, there's no
people that
friction.
have that experience.
This is a great segment.
I'm upset.
What? Michaela?
Yeah, it was fishy.
That was a fishy story, but that's like so evil to happen.
So
Yeah,
then the
two
next two are real.
Okay, it's
No, because
funny.
they might all be fishy. He might have all written.
Oh,
I don't know.
We need to be more strategic.
You might have written
with our
all
questions
fishy
next
stories.
time. No, yeah, like you don't know if this next one's true.
Well, it probably isn't because it's two fishies right now, right? You probably just wrote all fishy. Let's just see where this goes. Okay.
Let's just see where this
Do we
goes.
have a troll on the team here?
We're definitely going to have to
Oh my god.
think. Actually, we need to think less about this.
Yeah.
It's really working.
That
Okay,
last
lay it
one,
on
yeah.
me. I'm ready.
Yeah, okay.
Ready? Okay. A fact or fishy? This is written from the perspective by someone named Billy.
Billy. Fishy. That's for sure made up. Okay, go. Yeah.
One spring, my friend Johnny, his father,
So
Johnny
fake.
and Billy.
So
And
made
his
up.
That's
brother
Yelma thinking of white people names. He's
Yeah.
like, Johnny and Billy.
Billy.
I don't know. That's what white people are called, right?
Okay, keep going.
well, no, it's true. I have Scottish background. My dad's name is John.
Keep going. Keep going.
Right. So one spring, my friend Johnny, his father, and his brother went ice fishing at a local lake. They were fishing shallow in about 3 to 4 feet of water. After a while, Johnny's father and brother decided to take a little break. They leave their ice fishing poles and grab a cup of coffee. Then Johnny's dad says to Johnny's brother, "Hey, where's your fishing pole, Johnny?" Or wait, who's Johnny? Anyways,
Johnny?
Johnny's brother looks around and says, "I don't know." At the same time, Johnny's looking into the ice fishing hole and sees a line moving across the bottom. He hooks it with his jig and starts pulling it up. He pulls up his brother's pole and the fish that pulled it under as well. "No way!" They both replied. Everyone started laughing in amazement. It was a nice little, about 11-inch fish that they pulled out with the fishing pole under the ice. Fact or fishy?
I don't even actually know what happened.
I'm gonna go fact.
I'm gonna say
I lost
fact.
track
I'm gonna
halfway
fact
through.
everyone.
Fact.
listening?
Yeah.
I was listening. I just don't know what's going
That was
on.
a beautifully read story.
I feel
if
like I
don't
see
say
this
so.
happen on my dock all the time.
That's happened to me before, actually. Ice fishing.
What happened?
So a rod gets sucked under by a fish, and then another whole ice fishing rod catches that rod and brings
okay.
it up.
Cool.
It happens.
Oh,
That's
fact
wild.
then.
That's fact.
It's fact, guys.
That's
Oh.
fact?
We did
fact.
it. We did it
Seriously?
together.
Good one, studio audience.
Did you make up the names?
Huh?
Did you make up the names?
Johnny and Billy?
Well, you rewrote it.
No,
Oh
I
my
didn't write
God.
that.
Okay, let's get to the last one.
All right. Last one, fact or fishy. And this one could be fishy because I've never heard a story like this before.
Doesn't even.
I'm
Okay.
feeling it.
Okay, so a fisherman was hoping to hook a specimen worth hundreds of dollars one Sunday in an Indonesian fishing tournament. But when he,
Okay.
although
Sorry, keep going.
I have no self-confidence because of you,
So made up. Okay.
but when he reeled in his line, he was shocked to discover the big one he landed was no fish. Instead, he had hooked a lifeless human body.
Jesus.
Fact or fishy?
Okay, we just got dark here.
I did.
Filson,
It did.
did the lights just go down?
I did get dark.
Fact?
Fact.
That's probably a fact.
You guys out
Trip?
there?
I can make that story.
Man,
fact that I had a client that had a similar
No.
scenario.
No way.
In an area in which you guys are from.
What?
Oh no.
Somebody
Ooh.
hooked a dead body?
In Italy?
No. Yeah. Ottawa.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Some.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's fact.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mitch is Portuguese.
Okay.
The Portuguese. Eh.
This story is fact.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Ooh.
That happened.
Gross. Okay, well, outro us, man. What's your outro?
Outro. I don't have an outro. Well, thank you for listening to Yilma's Factor fishy.
Cool.
We'll have to find a sound effect.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I kind of like
Wow.
that. I digged it.
Yeah,
I
it's
dug
a
it.
good
It's a good. I think it's gonna be a good new segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just hope there's enough stories out there that are like, as interesting.
We
as-
could just make them up too, right?
Yeah.
Well,
It's fishy.
does it
Yeah.
have to be divided into no, it could be
No,
all
you-
false.
It could be
Could
all
be.
true.
Math.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
Before we wind this down, I just want to quickly touch on you guys just started a blog together, like an Ontario fly fishing guide branded thing.
Yeah.
You want to explain that just a little bit quickly before we wrap things
Yeah.
up?
Points to me.
I don't know.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. We're how do I start to say this? So we were in a meeting for an awesome partnership strategy, and actually the guy who we were talking to with his girlfriend, he does this really awesome stuff, and he's like, "Oh, you guys should start an Instagram together." Me and my girlfriend do, and it's just awesome, to showcase what they do together and if they have fun. So we wanted to start Ontario Fly Guides. That's our Instagram handle, just to showcase what we do on a daily basis. So it's going to have our clients, it's going to have what we work for, calm waters fly fishing, grindstone angling, and just us together, just working our way up and being fishy together.
Super cool.
That's awesome.
I think like from my point of view, a perspective with it is to showcase the unseen side of fly fishing.
Totally.
Like, I mean,
I'm
there's
falling.
a lot of shit that goes on when we're out there and doing our thing that does not get documented at any level. And I would like to expose that, like
Like
what
the
it
knots we
takes,
had?
like the blood, sweat, and tears of it, not just that sexy fish at the end of the day you got your photo with.
Yeah.
I
Right.
want to show some like nitty gritty. I want to show people
The work that
bleeding,
goes into it.
crying,
Yeah.
Totally.
whining, moaning, pissing their pants, because that's like
That's
for
like
me,
every
I-
fishing trip we
yeah, I see so much of that, man.
Yeah.
So much of it.
Yeah.
And like that's what I want people to see.
Especially the
like,
piss in the
Piss in
pants
the
part.
pants, yeah.
And especially for us, people are like, "Oh, you're a guide. You've done this forever.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could ever be with you." And it's got to be, the sport has to be accessible.
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
want
Yeah.
it to be intimidating. I'm intimidated still getting on the river, and that's saying something,
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I mean, the knots that we had the other day were absolutely hilarious.
Sorry,
you know?
can I
Yeah.
like intimidated how?
Just what the river's doing,
Oh, okay.
right? So, what is the river doing? Am I going to catch something? Look at
Right.
all these men that are beside me. Look at my boyfriend. Look at my father.
Yeah.
Just some
Yeah,
of the
look at your
best.
boyfriend.
Look at
Isn't
him.
he
Looking like a
cute?
snack.
It's like cheddar cheese. No, it's honestly.
Especially Southern Ontario, it can be intimidating. Like,
Well, there's just so many people
so
on the
many
river.
people,
There's so
yeah.
many people on the river.
So
right?
many people,
Yeah.
and it's a different sport. And I don't want to just talk about, being a woman in this, but it is, I do get people asking me, "Oh, I didn't know you would fly fish." And, I meet a lot of girls and women that are saying, I want to try something different. I want to go outside and into nature, or, I'm too busy, or I don't, maybe I'll ask my boyfriend. I really want them to know that this is something that they can just go out and do.
Yeah.
With somebody who is real and gets vulnerable too, and just happens to fish a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Cool.
important for me that people
That's
know
rad. Definitely.
Super rad.
That was a good show, guys. Did
There's one
anyone?
thing I just want to
Oh, please.
take a quick note on.
Yeah.
Is this store actually?
This store is
And
yeah,
It's
Good
beautiful.
point.
super rad.
I don't get too comfortable in clothing stores.
Yeah.
This one I'm very comfortable in.
Yeah.
does
Is it
feel
because
like-
you're sitting in a very comfortable armchair?
Wingback
And
chair.
We do feel right at home though. We're
no,
surrounded
but it's
by
it's the customer service too, man. It's the clothing. It's
Yeah.
just the atmosphere.
What a
man.
great
I,
shop.
for one,
Great.
like the skylights
Oh,
and
the
the natural
skylights are
light.
right.
It is
Dude,
nice.
yes.
Yeah.
And there's a huge canoe just sitting above us here.
And it's really homey.
Oh man, it's really cool.
And
Filson, Toronto, check it out.
If there's one woman in this universe I want to impress, it's Mother Nature.
Yeah.
And this
Excuse me?
these these clothing attires,
It's serious.
she would
Yeah.
turn on for
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
If
This
you
is
haven't
my-
checked it out, check it out.
This is my lumber black.
This is some very sexy
Yeah.
outfit attire. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
You'll-
want some of this.
I believe that's their slogan. Filson,
go
turn on
shopping.
Mother Nature.
Yes, that should be it.
You guys are marketing. You guys are marketing.
Awesome.
Awesome. Did you want to, Mitchie's?
Mitchie's Fishies 5?
I thought we were
Yes.
done. Ugh.
No, I think that's it.
Wow.
We've Mitchie's
I'm
Jim
just
was
Fishies 5.
ready
kidding.
to
That's
blow
right,
out of
that's
here.
right, that's right.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Cool. Great. Well, how about Trip, Alex? Who you work for? How can people book you? How can they find you? What are your Instagram handles? Do you have emails? Do you have phone numbers? No, don't give out your phone number.
My social insurance number, security number.
yeah.
is-
Banking information.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
guides. We don't have any of that.
We don't have money. We're fly fishing
What
guys.
is that?
Yeah.
So I
And
work.
maybe. Oh, sorry. And what areas you guys like specialize in? Like which rivers? and
Perfect.
stuff?
Yeah, it's funny. We're very different that way. So I'm
Yeah.
my name is Alex Parks, and I work for Calm Waters Fly Fishing, which is family owned. I don't know if you've heard of Jeff Parks, but he is the owner and operator, and he's absolutely fantastic. You can book me through the site. You can contact me directly. I've got quite a few people that book me through my Instagram, which is at Ontario Fly Girl. You'll also find my email on there as well, or just shoot me a message. You know, ask for some tips. Ask if we can spend a day just learning how to cast. It should be a good day. No intimidation. It's a great time. I fish around the Grand, Paris, Fergus. I'm always up at the Maitland as well, up in Goderich area, and the Credit as well. So you can find me around. I'm driving. I'm also a technology career coach as well. So I'm doing both of them together, really trying to get people out of the office and into nature through fly fishing.
Nice.
Nice. And I will say, we spent a day with Alex on the Maitland,
Yeah.
and it was an awesome day bass
Super
fishing.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
amazing.
great time
We
with
haven't
you
got the
guys.
chance to trout fish together yet, but our bass fishing
We will.
experiences have been amazing.
Yeah, if you
Awesome.
haven't gotten out with Alex, do it. Book
Yeah.
a trip.
Thanks, guys.
And
Yeah.
Trip, how can people find you?
You gotta hunt me on the river. You'll find me where the fish are.
He's being
You
devious.
Just go to the Sogging and open a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Play Technotronic,
You'll just
move
appear.
Amazing. Amazing.
I work for Grindstone Angling. You can reach me through that. I will be able to be reached through Jeff Parks and Calm Water. And you can get me through any social media in which I'm affiliated with. Pretty easy to find.
What's your handle?
Trip_Fontaine.
Nice.
Jesus.
It's like an actor's name.
It is. Well, it's a
Yeah.
character
Yeah, it's
from
a
The
character.
Virgin
Oh, we
Suicide,
talked
Josh
about
Hartnett.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
God.
old news, Yelman. Where are
Great
you?
book,
Yeah, I
great
know.
movie.
Remember the first podcast we did with
Yeah, I
them?
remember
Aldo,
that.
how can people find SoFly, baby?
Oh my God, baby! You can find us at the SoFly Crew on Instagram. You can find us if you want to email us with any questions, or even if you missed how to get in contact with our lovely guests here, you can find us at Gmail, thesoflycrew@gmail.com. Of course, you can find all of our content at sofly.ca. That's our podcasts, our videos, and our photos. I know we'll be making some content with these two guys over the summer,
Oh, yeah.
which is going to be
Can't
awesome.
wait for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun. And that's where you can find us. And that's it for me, Aldo. Thanks to Filson. Thanks to...
Nice hat, man.
Oh, I know, hey?
New Filson hat.
I know.
It looks really good.
Oh,
Looks
I'm going to
really
wear
good,
this
yeah.
first day.
Oh,
That's good.
yeah.
Oh, opening day outfits.
Yep.
What's everybody wearing?
We'll talk. We'll coordinate.
Waiters and nothing else.
We'll coordinate. Absolutely.
That's a joke.
Waiters and nothing else sounds pretty cool. I can
It
dig that.
doesn't.
Depending.
No?
Oh, it's sweaty.
Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks everybody for coming out to Filson. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Filson.
Thank you,
And thank you, Filson,
thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
You guys
Thank
are
you.
rad.
It's a great
Yeah,
show.
thanks. Special thanks to
Super
Will and his
fun.
team here at
Yes.
Filson.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Yilma, for your new segment. Thank you, 40 Creek Whiskey.
Yeah. Thank you, 40 Creek Whiskey. And
It's
thank you,
delicious.
Fishbrain, too. We'll do the talking points later. That's it for me, Mitch, Aldo,
Hey, bye.
and Yelma.
Bye.
Trip, Alex.
Bye,
Peace
guys.
out, homies.